morning, YouTube. Hope everyone's well as it can be, given the circumstances. Hope everyone is having the best day they possibly can. And thank you for stopping by. Thank you to new subscribers, old subscribers, people that have joined us over the last few months. And welcome to anybody that is new. What we are going to be doing in the next few videos is I want to build on my last video, which I had a bit of a rant about YouTube on. And the rant was mainly about paid subscribers and such like that. If you want to watch it, I'll pop a link up there somewhere. But what I wanted to take away from that last video is the fact that YouTube is an amazing source of learning. It's a great educational tool. Now, I would like to build on that and share as much information, knowledge, I suppose, as I possibly can. Now, I'm not a master beekeeper. You know, I'm not going to claim to be a brilliant teacher or anything like that. I am a hobbyist which enjoys it and wants to share as much as possible. So we'll start off with a little bit of an introduction about what's going on. Is over the next few weeks, few months, I'm putting together several videos about different sorts of subjects linked to beekeeping. So that will include things such as hive types, that will include things like basic equipment, that will include lighting a smoker, that will include building frames, things like that, you know, pests, disease, all that sort of stuff that can happen with beekeeping. The life cycle of bees. We'll also try and do like a virtual hive inspection. So if you haven't watched one of our previous videos, again, I might pop that one up here. Actually, that's a point of view of a beekeeper whilst I carry out an inspection of one of our hives. That one's proven quite popular. So if you do a course, like a physical course, that's always something that is included. And I know that's obviously not possible given the times that we're in. So I'll put together a bit of a virtual hive inspection, hopefully later on this season, for you to get something from. And then, of course, things such as honey extraction and such like that as well. So that's the point, is I want to try and put a few mini videos together with that sort of information, get it out there so that people can dip their toes into beekeeping. Now, if you look on YouTube, there are thousands of beekeeping videos, absolutely thousands of beekeeping videos. But like I said, what I'd like to do is try and condense the basic information so that people can get started and get going. So first off, a brief introduction about myself. So my name's Andy, 33, couple of kids, full-time job. Beekeeping is essentially a hobby at this point in time. Would I like that to progress? Yes, of course I would. And I'd love to be able to turn this into a small business, into a career and such like that. Not only for me, but also for my kids when they get a bit older. So that's what we'd like to do. So our company goes by the name of Brooklands honeybees. It's been running since 2019, which is when we first started producing and selling honey. There's certain legislation that you need to have in order to sell honey, and we'll touch base on that on a later episode. So that's me. I've been beekeeping, like I said, since 2018. Running at the moment on 7 hives. We bought our original hive, which we carried out a number of splits on, and have now got 6 hives from the splits and 7 hives. One of those is a swarm we caught last year. So that's our hives. Have a look over our previous videos. It shows everything from day 1 for me up to the current date of where we are at the moment. So the first video, what I'd like to just ask is a quick question, which is people need to ask themselves before they start beekeeping, is why they want to start beekeeping. Now, there are obvious answers to that question, which is that they enjoy it. You know, it's something that they have gotten interested in. They like to improve the environment as best they can. Bees need as much support as they can. Actually, the amount of work that the bees do, you know, the support for every bee is obviously appreciated. But I have spoken to a few people, and their reason for beekeeping is money. They want to sell honey and make money. Now, if that is your only reason for beekeeping is then you'll never make it as a beekeeper. I'll put that out there right now. You do need to have a passion for the hobby. You really do. And a passion for bees and a passion for the environment and all that sort of stuff. Because beekeeping isn't cheap and it's not easy. So anyone thinking that it's going to be a easy way of making a quick buck you're mistaken. Give you an example. I've been, like I said, running since 2018, and it's now 2021. We've had fairly successful honey crops. We've sold 40 to 50 jars each year, so 2019, 2020, so for the last couple of years. So let's say we've sold approximately 100 to 150 jars. It's probably a fair sort of prediction. My books have never given me a profit. I sell my jars of honey for £4.50 a jar. Now you can sell them for more, but I think that's a fair price for where I am. But I've never turned a profit. So this is not a cheap hobby. When you take into consideration the amount of equipment you need to buy, the cost of the equipment, the cost of the initial startup, honey extractors, jars, labels, bottles, all that sort of stuff, this is not cheap, and it will take you some time to turn anywhere near a profit. I do it because I enjoy it. I've always enjoyed beekeeping ever since day one. And my great-grandfather used to be a beekeeper, and from learning from other family members that knew what he did and such like, it became an interest which just grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. And that's kind of what you need. You need to have, you need to take money out of the equation, accept that it's going to cost you quite a bit of money, especially at the initial startup, and just enjoy it. That's the main part of this, that I think of that sort of thing to take away. That's pretty much it. All I really want to cover on this first video is, you need to be honest with yourself about why you want to do it. Accept the fact that you are going to get stung, and maybe open up a few hives before you take the plunge of buying equipment, buying bees and such like that, because there's been a lot of people which they've bought the kit, they bought the bees and all that sort of stuff, popped them all in, and then realized how much work it actually is, and or found out they're allergic to bees, which is never something that you not something you really want. When you talk about work, the people that look at beekeeping as far as honey goes, only see the jar of honey, the little 8-ounce jar of honey. What they don't see is the amount of work which goes on behind. During the peak of the season, between spring, summer sort of time, beekeepers are in the hives every week to 10 days. They are, when they're not in their hives, they're at home preparing food. They're home making frames, building boxes, and all that sort of stuff. During the winter months, they're feeding as often as they can. Beekeepers are constantly a little bit on edge because they're worried about their hives going through to the winter and surviving through to the spring. And then through autumn, you're doing treatments and such like that as well. And at the times when you're not at the hives, you're either A, worrying about it, you're B, learning as much as you possibly can from various different sources, or like I said, you're making bee frames, you're making up boxes, you're repairing boxes, you're producing wax, you're producing honey, all that sort of stuff. It all takes up a considerable amount of time, and you do need to be able to be aware that you are going to have to put a lot of commitment into it. It isn't just a case of put a hive in your garden and let the bees go. It's really not. There's a lot of work which goes into it, which people don't really understand. So that's our startup. This is our first little video, like I said, and I do hope this grows over the next few weeks, few months, into various different subjects. Like I said, well, I think what we're going to do for the first one is we're going to look at different types of hives. We're going to look at different types of equipment that you could be using. And that's going to be really our first educational video, if you want to have a look at it that way. Like I said, I'm not a teacher. All I want to do is share some of the basic knowledge which I have to try and get people into beekeeping, or people that want to get into beekeeping, a honest opinion of what it's going to take and what you've got coming your way. So that being said, I do thank you for joining us. I do hope you enjoy the next few videos which come along our way. And if you do, please give us a like, comment, share, subscribe. And thank you very much for your time. You take care of yourself. All the best. Thanks so much. Bye bye.